Made it look the way. 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 Made it look the way.
By something we can't see. I was out in the night when something grabbed me. I swear it hurt. Kind of felt like something cold, but it stabbed me. The streets are playing with my mind. I'm losing everything inside. Time stands still as we go blind. We're losing everything. Streets are playing with my mind. I'm losing everything inside. Time stands still as we go blind. We're losing everything. Whoa, I will never be there. Whoa, no more nightmares. I hold my breath and say a prayer. Dear God, from now on I'll be good. No more wars, no more lonesome cries. I'll volunteer in the neighborhood. The streets are playing with my mind. I'm losing everything inside. I'm losing everything inside. The streets are playing with my mind. I'm losing everything inside. Time stands still as we go blind. We're losing everything. Whoa, I will never be there. Whoa, no more nightmares. Tell me that you're gonna go and get help. Tell me that you're gonna go and get some help. The streets are playing with my mind. The streets are playing with my mind. With my mind. The streets are playing with my mind. I'm losing everything inside. Time stands still
How y'all doing tonight? You guys ready to go racing? Yeah? We're getting there. Just enjoy the tunes a little bit longer. Forza Spec Racing Series, week number 2, season 50. We got it going on here. Top of the hour. Hang tight. Welcome to X-Venture here live on Twitch TV. The weather outside is frightful, but the racing here in the Forza Spec Racing Series on X-Venture is oh so delightful. What? What is this? There we go. We stepped into Rise, Son of Rome there for just a split second. A long-time streamer here. First-time caller. Appreciate you having me on. I'm Dustin Moore, and yeah, we've got week number 2 Forza Spec Racing Series here on tap for tonight. I can already see they're loaded into the lobby. We're getting ready for Daytona, qualifying out at Daytona, the Tri-Oval. Not the sport circuit, not the street circuit, whatever the heck they call it, the thing with the infield racing and all that. No, it's just the Tri-Oval, so full throttle. We'll see which drivers have selected which car here in just a moment. But before we do any of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings here. Coming out of week number 1, in which both LS Subaru and Oof Serena picked up a victory as annotated there in gold. 97, 93 points apiece. And you might be asking, well, Dustin, if they split the wins, then how come LS Subaru has more points? That's because in race number 2 out at Suzuka, LS Subaru did in fact finish second versus Oof Serena, who at Road America finished third. So while they both picked up 50 points, their second race of week 1, a tad fewer in terms of points. AMS Storm at 92, Cratrim at 88, Blame Barney at 74, 72 there for Odd Drex, Kuda at 66, 64 for Born as Ghost, Joe Beardy 58, Slow Motion Fire also at a cool 58. And you've got Modern Weapon minus the N. I clearly forgot the N, so Motor Weapon. Actually, that's a cooler name. I demand that Modern Weapon change their name now to Motor Weapon. Patches Riley, both at 44, Fear the Fun at 35, thanks to a disconnect, a DNF, and the only DNF of week number 1, season 50. And of course, you see there 14th through 20th on our 20 driver leaderboard are vacant. And yeah, you know, we're in a little bit of a lull here in the Forza Motorsport community. We're awaiting the next Forza Motorsport title to drop here sometime soon. Next Wednesday. Not tomorrow, but the next Wednesday. We may very well figure out when that new Forza Motorsport title will drop, and hopefully we'll see some of you out there on the track for that. Now, of course, no better time than the present to go ahead and hop in, be a part of the action, refine your skills. If you've been out of Forza Motorsport for a little bit, good time to jump into a quote-unquote beer league and hone those. Head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. That's where everything you need to know about the FM4 series is located. Say hi, register, participate here in Season 50, or, I don't know, if you're bashful, if you're shy, if maybe you just don't want to be in midway through the season, then perhaps get ready to be signed up for season 51. All right, I mentioned that we've got Daytona on tap here in a few minutes. We'll be heading out there for qualifying. 3 laps of qualifying around the Tri-Oval. 38 laps in total for the race itself. And that'll be followed by Lime Rock, the full circuit, for 34 laps. And you can tell there by the track map, that does not include the little chicane on the backside of the circuit. Rather, they'll just come up the hill and make that right-hander down the hill back toward the start-finish line. 34 laps there, so quite a few laps. All the racing, basically, what would we say? Maybe an hour and a half worth of racing. A little bit of downtime in between races as drivers select their vehicles. But all in all, you wrap up a full Tuesday's worth of racing here at FM4 within 2 hours. Easy peasy. Get signed up and race. All right. I see Ghibli Giblets there in the chat. Virus Thoughts is there. Slow Motion Fire in the chat as well. For those of you who have tuned in, appreciate you being here on a Tuesday evening. Hopefully you had a good day. Click the follow button if you enjoy the content throughout your stay this evening. And if there's anything that I can do to make that stay much better, well then, by all means, just throw it into the chat there. Maybe hit me up on Twitter if you'd like. You can also shoot me a whisper here on Twitch. You can hit me up on my email account, which I believe can be found below. Many ways to reach out and say, hey, Dustin, you're really missing the boat here on something. Here's what I think is a good idea, and I'll do my best to accommodate. I am shy, says Jim. Well, fine. If you want to be shy, that's okay. You don't have to. More content to come here on X-Venture throughout the week. We saw a little bit of a background here, which was Rise, Son of Rome. Not what we have on the menu for tonight, but we will be getting back to that here on Sunday. As a matter of fact, wrapping up my campaign playthrough of Rise, Son of Rome on Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern. If you want to check that out, I'll also be live on Friday, this coming Friday. I'm going to say 3 p.m. Eastern. It could be earlier, but 3 p.m. Eastern is when I plan to start and hopping into Microsoft Flight Simulator. So not Forza Motorsport all day, every day, all the time, nothing else. No, quite the variety that I've got here. Forza Spec Racing Series reserved for Friday, or excuse me, for Tuesdays. Fridays, usually I bounce between Flight Sim, American Truck Simulator, and maybe some other things. And then on Sundays, those days are reserved for the storyline games, the single-player storyline-driven narrative-style action shooter. They run the gamut. That's what we do on Sundays. And then when the new Forza Motorsport title releases, I do plan to play the single-player of that game here on stream, and I'm actually looking forward to it. Really, the stream that you see here today was built on the foundation of me playing Forza Motorsport 5, and that's where quickly I gained a lot of followers, but this is not a full-time gig for me. This is something I do for fun on the side. So the very most I ask of the viewers, click the follow button, lets me know that you're indeed enjoying the broadcast, and like I said, if you feel froggy, hop on over to the racing side of FM4. I'm kidding. It's not that serious, but if you are wanting to compete and have a go at the championship, get involved. And even if you already know that, hey, the championship is out of reach for me, I just want to race for the sake of having fun, semi-competitive, and well-organized community-based league to race in, well, then here you go. This is the one. And whether you've got it for the Xbox One or the PlayStation or the Xbox Series X or the Series S, I totally forget that there are those two new consoles out there. Did I say PlayStation? I think I said PlayStation. The PC, the personal computer, which is what I am on. If you've got it on PC, you're welcome to participate as well. So there you go. That's all the convincing I feel like I need to do. If you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns about FM4 and how to be a part of the fun, well, then again, post it there in the chat. Speaking of in the chat, AMS Storm, welcome back to old style FM4 with everyone running the same car for a race. Oh, everybody's gone for the SVX, huh? The SVX is the car of choice. You guys can't see it here on the stream, but I can most certainly see it as I am loaded into the lobby. And yes, we have all but one. No, I take it back. There are others. The majority are Subaru SVXs. I do see one TVR Cigaris there, driven by Joe Beardy, and an Aston Martin Vantage, the V8 modern weapon, or motor weapon, as I've now proclaimed in the leaderboard. Just in case you missed it, there it is, motor weapon, top right. So modern, he surpassed modernity and has gone into just being motor. Nice. Yeah, I've already said it, and while they're finishing up here in the lobby to get ready to go, hey, what's going on there, Penguin? You have made it. Welcome. I always like to say, I hope y'all having a good start to the week. Yeah, it is Tuesday. Hopefully making your Tuesday evening a little bit better here on Xventure. I know. Tuesdays, for the longest time, I always feared them. I always hated them. I loathed Tuesdays. But then, Slow Motion Fire reached out to me and saved me and said, hey, Dustin, come join us, FM4, commentate. And I said, oh my gosh, my calling. That's a great band name, Motor Weapon. Could be. Ghibli Giblets, let's just be clear. Ghibli Giblets does not have the millions of dollars, but loves to throw out the hypotheticals. If $1 million, or in this case, asking Penguin if there are $2 million on the line, would they drive backwards and eat a gallon of ghost peppers? How about that? It's quite the challenge. All right, Slow Motion Fire in the chat lets me know that we are ready to go qualifying here out at the Daytona Tri-Oval. I feel like it's been a while since we've been on the Tri-Oval. Maybe we've been on the road course a bit, but the Tri-Oval? Oh, I think I have to go back in time. Way back. Back into time to figure out when the last time was here on FM4 we had done the Tri-Oval. All right, here we go. First one off the line is going to be CUDA 93, and you'll see the theme here. The theme being Subaru SBRs. Now, that is not the car you must drive in Season 50. In fact, you can only drive it once in Season 50. Here they are celebrating 50 seasons, the Forza Spec Racing Series is, and this happens to also be the 10th year, 10th actual calendar year in which they have been operating. And as a celebration, more so for the 50 season milestone here, they have gone back, picked out 10 vehicles that they've raced in prior seasons. They're all upgraded to A-Class. The only exception is the Honda NSX, which happens to be a few PI points above A-Class into S-Class. And that's because they are using the same builds, or as close as possible to the same builds as they had used in those prior seasons. Across the line, Oops Arena with a 5.5304. No, that's Enraged Barney now. Who's taking that one? It was Oops Arena with the top qualifying time at the for a second there. And then it did change over to Enraged Barney. Let's go to Soul Motion Fire. Actually, I take that back. We're with Cratrium. Soul Motion Fire now with a 54.464. Now, that is a standing start lap, and because some of those drivers were at the back of the pack, they had a little bit more time to get up to speed. So we'll really have a good idea as to who is fastest here on this first flying lap. Cratrium goes across the line, not able to best LS Subaru, who now clocks in at a 46.432. LS Subaru with the quickest time at the moment. Big J Bishop says no qualifying for me since I crashed, and Big J Bishop is referring to disconnect style crash, not necessarily a car to wall contact type crash. Right now, Slow Motion Fire holds on to the second quickest time, followed by Patches Riley, Audrex, Cratrim, Enraged Barney, Kuda93, Midnight Rider joining back into the action here. FM4. Good to see Midnight Rider making a return here. Week number 2, season 50. And just real quick, because they didn't show up last week because of an issue with my my alerts, we'll go ahead and play him back right now. Born as Ghost, who subscribed 22 months. 22 months Born as Ghost has subscribed to this channel. Thank you so much, Born as Ghost. Orlando RD17 with the follow. And then, no and then. Oh, there is an and then. ATT Douglas 1 with the follow. And again, if you are enjoying the content here this evening, throughout the evening, it doesn't have to be now. You can wait. You can hold judgment till the end. All I ask is that you click that follow button, and you too can be subtly acknowledged here at the bottom of the screen. I won't make a big deal out of it. I'll give you your proper due thanks, and we'll go on. You don't need to be embarrassed. Kuda93 with that 46.815 to AMS Storms 46.611. LS Subaru with the... I'm being careful as I say this, but yeah, I'm validating it here. A 46.319 is the pole sitting time there for LS Subaru. Cratrim at a 46.7, 47.1 there for Midnight Rider, making their debut here in Season 50. Oof Serena picked up a win out at Suzuka in race number 2 of week 1 at a 46.897. Enraged Barney with a 46.7, a 46.3 for Patches Riley, a 3.99. Ooh, does that put Patches on row 1? I think it does. Congratulations there, Patches. P2 opposite of LS Subaru. Joe Beardy at a 50.0. A 47.1 there for Modern Weapon, a 46.5 for Slow Motion Fire, Born as Ghost at a 48.4, and a 46.6 for Audrex. All drivers managing a clean qualifying time. I'll go ahead and turn on over to the driver's spotlight here. Do we have anybody wanting to chat? Nope, not right now they don't, but that's okay. We may catch them here at the end of the race. Blame Barney in the chat says, make a bet whether or not I will make the whole race without pitting. I'm going to hold off on the channel points right now. And the reason why I want to hold off on the channel points in terms of betting is there are a few features. There are a few features that I'm considering implementing new, re-implementing, and then axing altogether for the channel as I get ready for what I anticipate to be a bit of a boost when the new Forza Motorsport title comes out. So these first few months of 2023, I'm kind of just going through the motions here of the broadcast with ideas of what might make things more exciting, more engaging once we start having at least a few more people in the viewer box, the chat there, because I certainly hope so. If there aren't more people here when the new Forza Motorsport title releases, then I'm doing something wrong. But yes, this is to say that there are some ideas, there are some things that I want to do for the stream, but I just haven't gone all in here at the beginning of 2023. Rather, I'm going to have my feelers out here, especially once I know next week, if indeed next Wednesday we learn about the new Forza Motorsport title's release date, then that helps establish a timeline for me in terms of what features do I want to implement into the stream, how much time I have to do that, and all that good stuff. So I'm sorry if a few things you've come accustomed to are not happening at the moment, but stay tuned. Forza Motorsport 8 won't exist until next year. I hope not. I sure hope that is not the case. We've been waiting far too long now at this point. Don't forget to set up some predictions. LS Subaru. I just did the whole spiel. Maybe you typed that after or before I started that. Can you finish this race without pit stopping for coffee? Yeah, well, the Subaru can, says blame Barney. So apparently the Subaru SVX will be able to go the distance here in this first race of the evening. Slow Motion Fire did point out to me that there may be instances here throughout Season 50 where some of the vehicles, and I'm guessing those might be held off until a little bit later on in the season, but some of the vehicles may have some be a little bit more thirsty than others and therefore have a need to go into the pit lane. What's up there, Scottson? We'll definitely get a release date next week. That's what I understand, is that there will be a release date next Wednesday. For those who are uninitiated, there will be an Xbox showcase type event. I don't know. They've given it a new name. They've rebranded it, but for all intents and purposes, it's an Xbox showcase, and Turn 10 will be there with Forza Motorsport. And apparently, a German press release for Xbox alluded to the fact that there will be release dates provided. We'll see. We shall see. All right. Slow Motion Fire letting us know that we're ready to go. 14 drivers in the lobby. That's one more than we had during qualifying because Fear the Fun has now joined in after opting out of qualifying. Did I miss anything else? The Dark Soul boss of racing is in the chat. LS Subaru is there, doing the thing. Speaking of, here we go. Let's rock and roll. If we don't get a date, something's very wrong. Yeah, this is true. I agree. All right, on the line they are. LS Subaru Patches Riley represent row number 1. And as soon as Subaru moves, everybody else is free to go. They're on the banked tri-oval here. This could make things interesting. We see one car in the background already moving about and kick the tires and light the fires. Week number 2 of Season 50 is underway here. The Forza Spec Racing Series live on Twitch TV. Into turn number 1, LS Subaru leads the charge. And already they're going to go 3 wide. Patches Riley on the high side. And stand by here. It's Enraged Barney in the middle with... Oh, come on, timing. Work with me. I think it's Slow Motion Fire who was on the low line. Let's go ahead and drop back to Slow Motion Fire, who is currently in 4th position. At least that's where the timing says, and of course that was wrong. Slow Motion Fire up to 3rd position here. Again, a lot of Subaru SVXs. Apparently, drivers have done quite a bit of testing and trialing of the different vehicles, the 10 vehicles that they had to choose from. Now, of course, the vehicles that they opted to drive in week number 1, they can no longer race in here in Season 50. All of this in celebration of Season 50. Once they go back into Season 51, it'll be one car and one car only to choose from. No choice allowed at all. Oof Serena moves up against the wall, perhaps looking to drop it down toward the apex and maybe make a run on the inside. Definitely closing the gap on Audrex there in 4th position is Oof Serena. Kuda 93 back in 6th. Born as Ghost is in 7th. Patches Riley dropping all the way from 2nd. Starting out on row number 1 in P2, now back to P8. Fear the Fun has moved up to 9th after being at the very back of the pack in 13th position for the start of this race. Midnight Rider in 10th. Modern Weapon is 11th. And, we don't have to run a predictor here for y'all to weigh in on what you think's happening here. Did we lose Fear the Fun? I'm going to guess we have. And I believe that is correct. Yep. Fear the Fun very, very early here toward the end of lap 2 out of the race. LS Subaru has now dropped back to 2nd position with Enraged Barney up in 1st. Penguin says, wait, we're at Daytona? Daytona! I can't do it. I can't do it like the Sega voice guy. I can't. There's just no way. I don't have the Sega Daytona pipes. Enraged Barney now back to 2nd position, allowing LS Subaru, and allowing is a very generous term there. allowing LS Subaru to move back up to P1. Cars are moving all about the field, so here we go. Enraged Barney in second behind LS Subaru. Audrex now up to third. Slow Motion Fire in fourth. Kuda 93 is in fifth. Oops, Serena has dropped back now to sixth position. And that, one more car. Born as Ghost in seventh, and then make that another car. Patches Riley in eighth position. Then we have a pair of vehicles a little bit further back. This is going to be ninth position of Modern Weapon. Modern Weapon, again, opting to drive the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, and then Cratrium in 11th. Cratrium is in the Subaru. Cratrium is in the Subaru, but has fallen back and is off the larger pack. Now here in this grouping of four, you got Midnight Rider in 12th, and then Joe Beardy back in 13th position in the TVR Sajaris. Didn't get the memo. Didn't get the memo, boss, that the SVR would be the car of choice. Big J Bishop in chat. 3 points. All right, across the line they go for the beginning of lap number 6. Slow Motion Fire now starting to lose sight of Audrex there in third. So we may have the trio up front, followed by the larger pack here from 4th on back to 8th, with Born as Ghost, the caboose on this one. And then we've got a 3 to 4 car, well, it's going to be a 3-car grouping here from 9th on back to, well, check that. That's a 4-car grouping. 9th on back to 12th. And then Joe Beardy running solo right now. They're in 14th position. Let's go back to Enraged Barney here in 12th. Got LS Subaru out in front in first. Audrex behind him in third position. Let's go ahead and drop back to Audrex, and let's ride on board here. A lap around Daytona at night. Oh! You guys couldn't hear me. I'm back. I am back. Soul Motion Fire getting tangled up with LS Subaru coming out of turn number 2. Well, I guess it's a long turn 1. And spinning around up into the wall. Fortunately for LS Subaru, he did not get collected by Soul Motion Fire during the spin. Yes, Subaru did make contact with the outside wall after they bumped door panels. But I believe Subaru should be all right. We're going to hang tight right here just to see what goes on in the top 3, which is now occupied by Enraged Barney, Audrex, and Cuda93. First, second, and third, respectively. There goes Cuda now looking to the high side of Audrex, seeing if there's an opportunity to make a pass here, entering turn number 3? Oh, I should have really taken note where Daytona counts the turns here on the tri-oval. I think the start-finish line bend is 1, this being 2, and then the last corner there 3, maybe. And our top 3 now approaching lap traffic. Let's go ahead and go back to that situation there. Or not. Not sure what's going on with the replay. Replay, you good? Oh, you know what? I did it again. 4 turns and the tri-oval. Okay, so yes, turn 1 and 2 are technically 2 turns. Well, no. I don't know. It's just a triangle, y'all. It should just be three corners, 3 points. And unfortunately, loading screen once again. That might have been... Well, no, we did not lose anybody. Everybody is still out on the track apart from... Oh, and Enraged Barney is now off the pace. Coming out of the final turn. And Enraged Barney, just like that, going to drop back to at least 5th position. With Audrex up in the first, Cuda93 in second. And just that quickly, where we had 5 about 3 laps ago, we now are down to 2. Audrex, Cuda93, first and second. Patches Riley now has moved back up to 3rd. You might recall, started out on row number 1, P2, dropped back to 8th, and now Patches Riley finds themselves in 3rd position. LS Subaru, despite making that contact, let's go take a look at Subaru's vehicle. Despite that contact, has now moved back up to 4th position, and no damage to that vehicle. So keep an eye on LS Subaru. With more than half the race remaining, Subaru is not out of the equation. In fact, LS Subaru now up to 3rd, followed by Patches Riley, Oops Arena, Born as Ghost, Modern Weapon, AMS Storm is in 8th, Enraged Barney getting lapped now in 9th position, followed by Joe Beardy, Midnight Rider, Slow Motion Fire, Cratrum, and again, the only driver we don't have on the track any longer is Fear the Fun. So 13 of the 14 who started this race are still out there. And here is LS Subaru. You can barely make out any damage to that vehicle whatsoever. And now, we'll see here with Oops Arena following LS Subaru, if these two will work together tentatively to try to catch up to the front of the pack. The front of the pack is also going to be dealing with more lap traffic here within the next lap or so. Back up to the front. Audrex still in first, holding off Cuda93. Cuda93 in the Tic Tac mobile. Here the SVX Subaru with the Tic Tac livery. In second position, going to look to the low side. Now maybe back up to the midline. Oops Arena has a look on the high side of Subaru, and there's Enraged Barney, and Enraged Barney, unfortunately, watching lead lap traffic now put them a lap down despite Enraged Barney being there about 5-6 laps ago, was in the mix here for the top 5. And now seemingly has caught the slipstream of Cuda 93. That may not last long, though. Enraged Barney might be staying out on the track. No, actually has no damage. Enraged Barney with no damage to that vehicle, although Enraged Barney might have already gone into pit lane. I have not kept an eye on pit lane here as we've got so much action going on at the front of the pack. Big J Bishop in the chat says that second pack is going to pull up quick. Yeah, if they work together, LS Subaru, Oops Arena, and who do they have in tow? That's going to be Patches Riley. Again, trying to recover a few positions after starting out in row number 1. That can work together a little bit here. We might have another 5-way battle, although it looks like Subaru has now dropped back to 5th position. Things are just happening so dang quickly. Go to Patches Riley in 4th. Yeah, I know what happened. It's been a while since I've done this whole F4 thing. It was back, well, of course, I was here last Tuesday, but I did this last Tuesday as well. I'm pressing the wrong button for my replay buffer, and instead I'm muting my microphone. So that's what happened with the Slow Motion Fire incident, and as a result, you heard not my voice, and we didn't get a replay out of that. I will be a pro FM4 commentator someday again. Someday. Across the line, beginning of lap number 20. And Oops Arena with Patches Riley, 3 and 4. They've got Odge Rex and Cuda 93 within their sights. Let's go ahead and hop on board here with Patches Riley. Some sparks flying as Oops Arena makes contact with the back bumper of Odge Rex. Down the back straightaway they go. And yes, now we've got ourselves a 4-car battle for first. Although, it looks like Patches Riley struggling a little bit with getting around Born as Ghost. Might be able to do it here on the front side of the track, of the tri-oval. And LS Subaru, who was in the mix. Actually, Subaru has fallen off big time. We've got Modern Weapon in 5th, Storm in 6th, Subaru now all the way back in 7th. I swear, every time I look back at the map, Subaru has either moved up a few positions or fallen back several positions, and now they're getting a little squirrely, and like a 5-sided die, they come with 2 side-by-side up front, 1 in the middle, and 2 side-by-side in the back. Now they've gone back into single file formation here. Born as Ghost was a part of the mix there. Risky moves playing out here, and now it looks like Born as Ghost has fallen back there. 9th position, one of the back markers, allowing Cuda 93 and Patches Riley to at least have a little bit of room to work here with Odge Rex. Oops Arena, now our race leader. She picked up the victory out at Suzuka a week ago in race number 2, and now has a chance to go back-to-back, and that would bode well heading into the final couple of races here of the first half of Season 50 in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Born as Ghost, not relenting, staying pretty close there with Patches Riley. That probably has Patches Riley paying attention, a little bit more attention behind them than they'd like to spend. With Kuda and Audrex right in front of them. Oh, and Oof Serena going to slide it out of the corner, able to recover here on the back straightaway. Some style points there from Oof Serena, able to make the save. That could have gone wrong in many ways. If you tag the back end of the car up onto the wall, it would at least slow you down, but luckily didn't spin it all together. Able to maintain position. Let's go up to Audrex, have a little bit of closer look here. First to second, and that did bring Oof Serena off the pace a little bit here in front of the grandstands on the top of the tri-oval. They're going to go side by side again now. It's going to be Audrex, Patches Riley moving up to second, Audrex in third, Kuda 93 in fourth. And folks, we got plenty of laps to go here. 38 of them. In fact, that 39th lap that you see in the upper left, that's just a cool-down lap. They will not race that one out, but plenty of racing to go here. About, 14 laps? Audrex now up high as they head back toward the start-finish line. Now Born as Ghost starting to fade out of the picture here, making life a little bit easier for our top four. Running through the field, it is Patches Riley. Oof Serena now drops back to second. Kuda 93 in third. Audrex in fourth. Let's go to Oof Serena in second, and then I'll run through the rest of the field here from fifth on back. Modern Weapon, AMS Storm, LS Subaru in seventh, and is on the opposite side of the track. So if LS Subaru is going to make a miracle happen, going to have to do it quick and cover a lot of ground in seventh and just passing the start-finish line for the beginning of his lap number 26. Enraged Barney back in 8th position. Born as Ghost in 9th. Joe Beardy in 10th. And Midnight Rider, Slow Motion Fire, Cratrium 11th, 12th, and 13th. Across the line goes Patches Riley. Patches Riley with a very celebratory Season 50 livery, whereas Oof Serena has opted for not your traditional. At least it doesn't look like it. Maybe it looks a little different being painted on with a black complementary color. And the fact that we're at night here at Daytona, but looks a little bit more yellow than that yellow-green that we're familiar with Subaru donning on their race cars. More so their rally cars. And 3 wide there goes our, what was that? Was that Audrex, Modern Weapon, and AMS Storm? We're going to hang tight right here. Oof Serena. They've got Enraged Barney that they now have to work with here. Another one of the, I think we're up to, oh, and Oof Serena, I think, making contact with the wall. Considerable slowdown there, and that's going to make things a little bit difficult here for Oof Serena. The one plus is that she's got Enraged Barney up there and try to make use of that slipstream to catch back up with Patches Riley. Patches Riley just clean air out in front. Nobody to kind of do a little bit of bump drafting with. And there goes Modern Weapon, Audrex, and AMS Storm in the battle for fourth. Modern Weapon drops it down in front of Audrex, and at least for now, well, no. Yeah, actually, I am correct. Modern Weapon in fourth, Audrex in fifth, AMS Storm in sixth. And yeah, I think Subaru, there may be some damage to Subaru's vehicle, and really the best that Subaru can hope for is to eke out the 7th place points, so that if something else happens in any of the remaining 6 races of Season 50, at least get some points out of this one. But this could very well be Subaru's drop week. Again, AMS Storm, who is 3rd overall on the leaderboard, in 4th. So that's another name to watch. Oh, and we've got Who is this in the pit lane? That's Oops Arena having to go into pit lane, and that is terrible, terrible news for Oops Arena, who was there in third position. Now, let's take a look at the other vehicles. Oh gosh, this is going to be close. I see Cuda93 with 19% fuel in their Subaru SVX. So the question is, can some of these drivers go the distance here? I don't think they can. Full throttle for 8 laps, 9 laps? They're going to be short on fuel, says Big J Bishop. So Oops Arena gambling on taking this pit stop now. Perhaps come out with little traffic to deal with. Let's see. As I pinpoint Oops Arena, actually no, kind of in the thick of it right now. 7th position on the back straightaway. But with only one car in front of her, that's going to be LS Subaru. LS Subaru, if we check out his situation, he's good on fuel. So Subaru, I redact everything, I reverse everything I said earlier. Subaru in not bad position at all right now, considering our top drivers at the moment are going to have to stop at some point. Let's take a look at Patches Riley's fuel situation. 13% in the tank, so Patches definitely going to be due for a pit stop here in the remaining 7 laps. Let's go to Modern Weapon in second position. Modern Weapon 18%. A little bit of tire wear there though, but that should be negligible. I don't think that's going to affect Modern Weapon at all. Modern Weapon, by the way, in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. There goes AMS Storm to try to make a pass. That's a pretty bold move. AMS Storm with 11% in the tank. So I suppose maybe AMS Storm is thinking, hey, if I get a little bit of damage here on the wall, that's okay. We'll patch that up here next time into the pit lane. 12% there for Cuda93, so another stop due there. Let's go to Audrex in 5th position. Audrex has yet to pit, 14% in the tank. So right now, as it stands, with the contact that Subaru had with slow motion fire earlier on in the race, Subaru right now in position to take the top spot when the top 5 stop for gas. How about that? LS Subaru's got this whole strategy thing figured out. Now, the only thing that Subaru is going to have to keep eyes on is that Oops Arena, currently in 7th, 1 spot back from LS Subaru, is maybe only 2 or 3 seconds back overall on the track from Subaru. And so there is still a chance that Oops Arena can go back to back, but is going to have to nab it here from Subaru and have to do so while dealing with slow motion fire in Cratrium. A couple of lap traffic cars right on the back bumper harassing her as they go into the left-hander here. Turn number 3. They're all left-handers. How about that? Out at Daytona, the Tri-Oval and across the line, beginning of lap number 34 here for Oops Arena. Our top 5 have not yet gone in. They're going to have to go in at some point. Let's go to Patches Riley. This might be the lap. Nope. We'll see if any of them go in. How about Cuda93? Nope. Not even so much as a fake out. Not even dropping down to suggest that they may be going into the pit lane and then jumping back out on the racing surface. Here comes LS Subaru. So we'll put our camera here. It's either going to happen next lap or maybe lap number 37. As Subaru now starting lap number 35 with Oops Arena. Oops Arena just cannot shed slow motion fire. And who did I say that was? Cratrium? Midnight Rider looking a little squirrely coming off of the turn 1 exit. And there I see a couple of gray dots in the pit lane. I'm not going to try to hover over them because usually the pit lane really goofs up the timing, so the names never show up correctly. But rather, we'll pay attention here to both LS Subaru and Oops Arena's placement. And actually, look at that. They're coming out of pit lane quicker than I anticipated. And so Subaru has yet to gain a position. Now, there's one. Here comes two. So now LS Subaru up to 4th. Midnight Rider posing a little bit of a challenge there on the front straightaway. But now Subaru able to get by. Up to 4th. Oops Arena shows as 5th now. And we do have another gray dot into pit lane. And so this next time by the flag stand for the beginning of lap number 37. I don't know. I take it back. This is going to be super close. Modern Weapon. 4% in the tank. Can Modern Weapon pull the ultimate upset in terms of vehicle selection? Nobody else opted for the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, and here's Modern Weapon getting ready to go by the flag stand for the white flag. Yes, lap 38 is the final lap, not lap 39. White flag flies here for Modern Weapon. Nobody around him has a chance to pick up a win here. Season 50, 2% in the tank. It's going to come close, folks. It's going to be really close. Can Modern Weapon pass through on fumes and coast it around this final corner to pick up the checkered flag? You see there on the map, there is nobody behind. It might be possible. Modern Weapon, the K&N liveried Aston Martin V8 Vantage around the final corner, out onto the front straightaway. I think, by gosh, he's got it. Roll up the windows, turn off the AC, says Ghibli Giblets, and across the line, Modern Weapon, the only driver in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage here at Daytona in the A-Class Shootout, Season 50, week number 2, race number 3, gets the win. In second, Patches Riley is able to hold on. Here I was thinking that Patches Riley maybe had a disadvantage based on pit strategy, and across the line goes Patches in P2, followed by LS Subaru, who will grab a podium position, followed by Audrex, followed by Oof Serena, then AMS Storm, Cuda 93, Enraged Barney, Born as Ghost, Cratrium, your top 10. Wow! I truly did not see that coming. When Big J Bishop said that pit strategy was going to be a thing here for those driving the SVX, I fully expected that all the standings that we saw there about 32 laps in were just going to get flipped on their head. That was not the case. Modern Weapon just apparently on another level, planning out fuel strategy like none other. Well done, Modern Weapon. And I say this with all due respect. I don't know that I've ever called out Modern Weapon's name as a winner here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And at these oval events, these oval/tri-oval oval events, anything can happen. And especially so here in Season 50, where the drivers have 10 cars. But for a driver who was the sole selector of the Aston Martin to get the win, surprising. Well done. Congratulations. Folks, I'm going to run some ads. All the proceeds that I get from the ads and the subscriptions go directly back into the production of the broadcast. So I greatly appreciate those of you who are followers to the channel to just hang tight. Watch the ads. I promise you won't miss a single thing. When we get back, we'll talk to some of our drivers. We'll get ready for qualifying. Yes, we've got another race here this evening out at Lime Rock. That'll be race number 4 here of season 50. You're watching the Forza Spec Racing Series. I'm Dustin Moore. This is X Venture. I'll be right back. All right, all right, all right. The snow, it's falling outside my window, but here in the Forza Spec Racing Series Season 50, Week 2, things are heating up. I tell you, Daytona Nights under the lights? What a great race there. Modern Weapon coming away with the victory. Patches Riley finishing in second, and LS Subaru in third. So Motion Fire says, rough start there, but what a race that was. Fun. Congratulations, Modern. Great run saving fuel. Speaking of Modern Weapon, I love this. I love this. Modern Weapon now joining me here in the driver's spotlight. What did you know? Well, it's obvious what you knew, but how did you know it and nobody else had a clue about the Aston Martin V8 Vantage here and its ability to get around the track in a full 38 laps without needing a pit stop?
It really started last week when I picked the SVX and really didn't have a choice of picking it this week.
Yeah. That's just a quite happenstance right there. You already selected the car thinking it gave you an advantage, the car being the SVX, on another track. So here, what was your thinking? Did you immediately go to the Aston Martin, or were there other options that you were considering until you maybe realized what you had here?
I did a little bit of tuning last night, playing around with it. Really, I thought the Vantage gave me the best performance, and really based on Joe's testing that he had done, he made it sound like there's no way the Vantage was going to make it to the end. So I think a lot of it had to do with maybe Storm was pushing me around the entire track.
Okay.
But yeah, I finished the race with 0.3% fuel, and I feathered it a little bit the last couple laps.
It was looking a little precarious there on the last couple of laps as we were watching the percentage drop down on your fuel tank. But as I looked at the map, there were no gray dots really around you. Were you paying attention to where anybody was at all, or were you just so fixated on your fuel gauge that they could have been right on your backside if for all you know?
I was, fear was kind of talking to my ear saying I was good.
Yeah.
And I was really focusing on making sure I didn't screw up and dip to the apron or swing out wide and choke on the last couple corners there. And then, yeah, the last lap was like, all right, I'm really close on fuel. Let's back off a little bit. Let's make it to the end.
Make it to the end you did. Talking with Modern Weapon here in the driver's spotlight. The first time in a long time that I can remember, 3 different winners here for the first 3 races of the season. Really great stuff. You had mentioned that AMS Storm may be helping you out, giving you a little bit of a push that may have saved some fuel for you. Was there any point in the race, though, where maybe you were being aggressive on the throttle and you thought, oh, gosh, this might really affect my strategy? Or were you pretty set on your strategy the whole time?
Yeah, I was pretty set on my strategy of just hold the trigger down all the way. And it miraculously paid off.
That's amazing. That's amazing that it got you all the way home. You said Fear the Fun was chirping in your ear that you were good. Was anybody trying to fool you and trick you into thinking that you weren't good and trying to get you to go ahead and duck in?
No, I think at that point everyone else had kind of made their decision that they had to pit, otherwise they were in trouble. So it was the underdog coming from the back the last 2 races to the front.
And what was your contingency if your strategy didn't work out and you used up more fuel than you should have? Were you just going to coast it all the way with no shot at going into the pit?
Absolutely coast.
Oh, man. Really cool.
It was full send at that point.
Yeah. Slow Motion Fire, Kratium, Born as Ghost here in the chat, congratulating you for your victory. Usually I wait for the end of the evening here, but a great opportunity to ask you here after your victory. Any shout outs you want to throw out there? Maybe something for the naysayers?
Yeah, you got to get the right car at the right track, a little bit of luck, and hey, even the person who's always to the back can make their way to the front occasionally.
All right, Modern Weapon. You still have the the Aston Martin Vantage right now in the lobby. Of course, you're chatting with me. What vehicle can we expect you in here at Lime Rock?
I need to roll the dice on that one. I got a couple choices: Scirocco, maybe the Beetle, maybe something else. We'll It'll be a game time decision.
All right. We'll see you out there for qualifying. Well done, and good luck here in race number 4.
Thank you.
All right, there's Modern Weapon. Well done. Like I said, I don't know that I've called out Modern Weapon's name as a winner, a race winner here in FM4, and it's usually the ovals where we have that weird, wrench in the kink in the chain. I'll go with that cliched phrase there. It's those oval races in the tri-oval where it's like, well, because of the hold the button, the throttle down strategy that is these oval events, and it's a matter of how smooth you can be on the thumbstick. It really is kind of a toss-up, and it happened to be more than a toss-up here in this race, with Modern Weapon being very selective and very strategic with the choice of car. Well done there. And one more driver here in the driver's spotlight before we get ready for qualifying out at Lime Rock. We've got Blaine Barney, the rain god. And Barney, things kind of went back and forth for you there. I see it looks like maybe you finished, what is that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th?
8th, sadly.
8th.
Yeah,
8th, okay.
That was what you could call a roller coaster of a race. Let me tell you what. Starting off in 6th place, wasn't a great qualifying.
Yep.
Absolutely passed almost everyone other than Subaru on the start, getting all the way up to 2nd. I was feeling great. Very nervous. Couldn't keep my thumb steady the entire time. I was shaking in you could say my timbers were shivered. All right. Finally, I accidentally did the bump and run on Subaru. Got into 1st place. Listen, I was feeling great. I was holding it steady, keeping Aldrich behind, and then the ghost of Dale Earnhardt Jr. came in and spun me. I don't know what happened, but all I know was I was backwards in the grass. I tried to pull the Lightning McQueen, drift back onto track. Sadly, too much speed. I was going too fast and slammed into the wall. And that was my race, and I was gone.
That's all it took. Was this before or after the pit stop? I'm trying to remember.
This was right before. That was the reason I had to take the pit, was because I just damaged the car so badly.
Got it.
But yeah, I don't know what happened. I thought maybe it was Audrex who killed me, but he was too far behind. So I think the final conclusion was someone left a mirror on track on the back straight, and that's what ended my race.
I mean, you're not. You may not be wrong there. I actually, as Slow Motion Fire and LS Subaru got caught up just before the midpoint of the race, I did call out. I might have been muted on the stream at the time because I pressed the wrong button, but I did call out that there was a mirror that was kind of tumbling around out there. So it's entirely possible for you. Entirely possible. Talking with Enraged Barney, you're known as Blame Barney here in Discord, and I think I've got you like that on the standings. But Enraged Barney out on the track, you had opted for the SVX Subaru, like the lot of drivers here at Daytona. I see you in the RS 500 now in the lobby, which folks have mentioned that car can be quite tricky.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird car to drive. It's just trying to manage trying to get the oversteer where I want it and grip where I need it to. It's gonna be fun at Lime Rock. I think if there's any track to have a weird car at, it's this track.
Okay, Lime Rock always kind of scares me. It just seems claustrophobic to me. I don't know. The width of the track doesn't seem all that great. There's plenty of space out in the grass to go frolic in. Of course, that's not where you want to be. How about you? How do you feel about Lime Rock here?
Honestly, Lime Rock's one of those tracks where I can take it or leave it. It's either I'm gonna enjoy the track depending on the car, or I'm gonna hate it. It's a track I've always had good memories with, having good results in my early Forza times. It's just every once in a while I'll have a bad race and I'll hate the track for a while.
Yeah, that can certainly happen, and Lime Rock is one of those that often is in that I have that sentiment for. So, all right, well, hey, Blame Barney or Enraged Barney out here on the racetrack. Like you said, very much a roller coaster ride out there at Daytona, and I think a lot of people can attest to that. It wasn't just you, but a lot of people were shifting forward and backward throughout the race, but we'll see how things go here in qualifying, and then, of course, the race itself out here at Lime Rock. Best of luck to you.
All right, I'll avoid mirrors this time.
Yeah, look out for the mirrors. That's gonna have to be a new meme. We'll have to get a an emote in the chat there for our viewers. Something about mirrors. All right, one more driver here. It looks like there's still maybe some planning and vehicle changing in the lobby. So we'll go ahead and bring in LS Subaru to the driver's spotlight here. LS Subaru, yeah, you were on the same roller coaster, or at least a roller coaster similar to that of Barney. You had started out on pole out there at Daytona, and then an incident there with slow motion fire. Not too many laps into the race had you up into the wall. I think you got the best of it, whereas slow motion fire certainly suffered more. But did that mess up your strategy at all? You ended up finishing third. Certainly you would have liked the win, but how are you feeling coming out of Daytona?
To be honest, considering how chaotic that race was, I'm actually really happy that I was able to walk away with the podium still. That incident, it started off with me just leading the race, and then Barney giving me like a little bit of a bump and run. He tried to bump draft me mid-corner, which in Forza 7's physics model is not really a viable thing to do.
No.
And because of that, once he tapped me mid-corner, I lost like a solid like 10, 20 kilometers an hour, and then Slow came into contact with me. We kind of just Forza glued for a moment, and then he went right up into the wall. He unfortunately wasn't able to walk away from that with no damage like I was able to, but yeah, there was it definitely killed a lot of the momentum and kind of really thinned my chances of getting a win there, but the race still turned out pretty fine. I did end up having another incident actually where I hit a wing mirror on the back straight, and then I got and then I got a tap from Serena, and then I just went flying into the infield. Luckily, because there's like 10,000 kilometers worth of infield there, I was able to catch the car and get it back on the straight with no issues. But yeah, otherwise a really good race.
Drivers, contain your wing mirrors. Get those things in check. Talking with LS Subaru. Subaru, everybody's ready in the lobby here for qualifying out at Lime Rock, but just last quick question for you. How surprised are you? Modern Weapon, Aston Martin V8 Vantage, getting around the track on a full tank of fuel and coming away with the win out there. Is that something that you saw as a possibility, or did you just dismiss it outright altogether?
I wasn't expecting it, but I'm definitely really super happy for Modern that he managed to pull off the nose stop in the Aston and get the win. I don't think anybody was expecting the Aston to win, since both of these cars, if you push it 100% of the time, both the Subaru SVX and the Aston Martin would have to pit. But he was able to keep it cool and pull off that nose stop, and it really paid off for him in the end.
Got it. Subaru, thanks for dropping in here after the race out at Daytona, and good luck to you at Lime Rock.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. All the drivers are readied up, so we'll get LS Subaru over there quickly. But yeah, we've got some chatty drivers here this evening. 3 there in the driver's spotlight in between races. Love getting their thoughts on the race, and especially with such a surprise outcome, Modern Weapon opting for the Aston Martin, getting the victory. Patches Riley, who at one point I thought was doomed, had been in second from the beginning of the race, getting the qualification for P2, dropped all the way back to P8 relatively quickly in that one, and then following a turn of events with other drivers, a pit stop that apparently was well timed, Patches was able to get the SVX back out on the track and finish in second, right where they started. LS Subaru, as I mentioned, getting third position, so able to eke out a podium spot. Probably would have preferred more points, especially with Oops Arena doing so well here in Season 50 after getting a victory out at Suzuka. Oops Arena, I believe, finishing 5th. Audrex had moved around as I was taking notes, but I think Audrex did, in fact, finish in 4th in front of Oops Arena, and Oops Arena in 5th, followed by AMS Storm, Enraged Barney, Kuda, and Born as Ghost in the top 10. And now qualifying has begun out at Lime Rock. Let's go ahead and check out the action, and immediately faced with a loading screen here. Emma Storm doing a drift session out here in the Honda NSXR. By the way, for those of you wondering and keeping score at home, the Subaru SVX made its appearance here in the Forza Spec Racing Series back in Season 17. If I had to wager a guess, I would think that would be in Forza Motorsport 5, maybe even Forza Motorsport 6. But Season 17 was when the 1996 Subaru SVX debuted in FM4. And now AMS Storm across the line here for the beginning of qualifying out at Lime Rock. 3 laps of qualifying. That was the standing start for Storm. And now here the flying lap. Audrex with the quickest time at the moment, 58.8. Let's go to Audrex. Cloudy skies here at Lime Rock. I actually lucked out the other day. I was doing just like a quick little photo session for some promotional posts for the series, and it was sunny. We got ourselves cloudy skies here in Lime Rock. I believe this is New Hampshire. Somebody want to check me on that? Fact check? Where are my fact checkers? Where are my Googlers? Where are my Googlers at? Here's Audrex, 4th position right now, 4th quickest time, but getting ready to go across the line on his first flying lap and unable to beat AMS Storm's time. AMS Storm with a 53.201. Audrex does have the 2nd quickest time at the moment, though, followed by Oofs Arena, LS Subaru, and Joe Beardy. Yeah, that's AMS Storm with a quick time right now. And that Honda NSX was kind of just drifting about early on in qualifying, but then really made it stick there on the 2nd lap. And here we go, lap number 3. Down the hill and back out onto the Sam Posey straightaway. And across the line. 53.120, able to knock off a 1/10 of a second or so. Let's go to LS Subaru right now, who has the 2nd quickest time. LS Subaru opting for the Subaru Impreza WRX STI, the other Subaru that is eligible for selection here in Season 50. You've got 2 of them, the SVX and the STI. And like that, Subaru, despite being in the car that shares the same name, right now, only able to eke out a P2 qualifying time. Oh, look at Oofs Arena floating in the Scirocco. That's the end of qualifying. That's what was happening there. AMS Storm now. I was confused about this in week 1. Fortunately, we had some folks in the FM4 crew able to chime in on my inquiry there in chat last Tuesday. The Honda NSX is using its build, the build that they had for it back in Season 15. And now here in Forza Motorsport 7, that build equates to an S708 performance index. So yes, you can select the NSX and have a little bit of a performance index advantage. That car coming in at 412 horsepower, 319 foot-pounds of torque, does weigh 2,653 pounds. AMS Storm in that Honda NSX, 53.1, a 55.1 there for Oofs Arena in the Scirocco. Audrex also with the Scirocco with a 54.8. Midnight Rider opting for the TVR with a 57.1. Enraged Barney, as we talked to him in the driver's spotlight, going with the RS 500. Able to get a qualifying time of 54.8. LS Subaru with a 53.9. Again, that's good for P2, not P1. Not often do we have Subaru off of pole position, but row 1 will probably work just as well. Born as Ghost with a 55.7, also in the WRX STI. Cuda 93 in a 55.1. Well, Cuda 93 in a Scirocco with a 55.155. That's a dirty lap, so we're going to find Cuda 93 toward the back of the pack. Joe Beardy with an RS 500 as well, 58.1. Thank you, game. Slow motion fire with the Scirocco, 54.8. That's going to be another dirty qualifying time. Be toward the back of the pack. 55.4 there for Cratrium in the WRX. Scirocco is what Modern Weapon is driving, coming off of that victory out at Daytona, 55.4. Patches Riley, a full minute and 1/10 of a second in the Aston Martin Vantage. And then Fear the Fun, who caused us to have the black screen there at the beginning of qualifying. No time for Fear the Fun. So Fear the Fun going to be at the back of the pack. The backest part of the pack. Appreciate you tuning in here. AMS Storm in the chat says, I forgot what it feels like to actually win one of these. So the NSX felt right. I'm actually surprised. I see what you're saying, trying to give yourself an advantage in one of these races. I just didn't think that the NSX would be employed at Lime Rock. I thought that would be reserved for maybe one of our later tracks here. Of course, we've seen a few drivers use the NSX, most notably out at Road America, big sprawling track, able to open up all that 412 horsepower there. And as a matter of fact, that's where LS Subaru was able to pick out a dominant win in the NSX. So thought maybe we'd see that car elsewhere. But here we go. AMS Storm out at Lime Rock with it. We do have, 2, 4, 5 more races here after this evening. As a matter of fact, our first race of week number 3 will signify the end of the first half of Season 50. And then midway through tomorrow, next Tuesday's broadcast will then be the back half, the start of the back half of Season 50. And so these things go quickly. I mean, it's 5 Tuesdays of racing, 2 races per evening, the only exception being there in week number 5 where they have an endurance event for that 9th and final race of the season. It'll be very, very interesting to see what cars the drivers have selected or will select. Some of them probably haven't committed to one or the other. What car they'll go with in that 9th and final race of the season. If you want to participate in the Forza Spec Racing Series, and I certainly encourage you to do so, they consider themselves a beer league, which basically implies that they're doing this for fun. There are bragging rights on the table, but if you're looking for a community-based league to participate in, that's very welcoming, that's very accepting of drivers of all skill levels, of all backgrounds, and anywhere you are on the globe, you're welcome to participate in FM4. Head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. That subreddit is where they've got all the details for registration and anything else you want to know. Points, car configurations, who's racing, all that. Head on over, introduce yourself, say hi, and hopefully we'll see you out here on the track sometime soon. All right, Slow Motion Fire, let me know there in the chat that we're ready to go. So here we are, AMS Storm in the Honda NSX. Out there in P1, LS Subaru, P2. Then you see Audrex and Enraged Barney back in row number 2. Kick the tires, light the fires. AMS Storm gets us going here. Week number 2, it is the final race of the week. Race number 4, Season 50. We are underway into the Big Bend. Turn number 1 goes AMS Storm. Subaru back there. It looks like most of the cars opting to go into single file formation here. We've got 34 laps of racing of the 35 that you see there in the upper left. Cratrium in 3rd, Enraged Barney in 4th, Born as Ghost in 5th. Oof Serena, got to try to get some points here. Oof Serena does after finishing in, again, I think 5th out at Daytona. Had a possibility of winning that one, and it just didn't pan out. Back down the hill and very quickly out onto the Sam Posey straightaway once again. They're posting 54, 53-second times here out at Lime Rock. So these laps are going to go quick. AMS Storm across the line. You see the brake disc glowing there on all 4 corners of the NSX. LS Subaru is still back there in 2nd position. Let's go to Enraged Barney in 4th. Enraged Barney we talked to there in the driver's spotlight in the RS 500. Folks gave us a little bit of an indication that the RS 500 can be a bit squirrely. I think a few drivers had it for the Suzuka race in the rain. to include LS Subaru. So we'll see how this vehicle performs on a dry racing surface, going up the hill, touching grass a little bit. Trim, and here comes Enraged Barney, looking to the inside into the final right-hander, up onto the curving, makes a little bit of contact with the passenger. Well, that could be the driver's side, depending on what spec this Subaru WRX is. It looks like the driver's side is, in fact, on the right side, so Enraged Barney making contact with the driver's side. I'm glad I got that sorted. Into Big Bend they go. Enraged Barney still on the inside line, now on the outside, heading into turn number 2. They're going to continue this. A little tandem, it takes 2 to tango. The WRX, the Ford RS 500, and out of that, out onto the no-name straightaway, Enraged Barney is going to go ahead and drop back onto the rear bumper here of Trim. Probably the wise thing to do here at this part of the track, because this corner right here, as you're heading uphill, can throw some drivers off, and the last thing you want to be doing is driving up alongside of somebody who loses control and slams you up into the tire wall. And so with that, Enraged Barney going to be happy with 4th at the moment. Let's see as they come out on the Sam Posey straightaway, right onto the back bumper. Not going to have the advantage here on the WRX STI. The RS 500 coming in with 363 horsepower to the STI's 375. Now to the inside here, turn number 1, Enraged Barney's going to try for it again. And this time is going to make it work. Heading into turn number 2, secures position, and just like that, Enraged Barney up to P3, albeit very, very early on in the race. Our race leader currently, AMS Storm in the NSX, has the advantage slightly over A-Class into S-Class. That's the one advantage you have of selecting that car here in Season 50, and you can only do it for one race. You can only have that PI advantage for one race. Into the right-hander they go. Enraged Barney with Trim right there. Look at them headlights. You got the rally lights there on the Subaru beaming into the rearview mirror. Well, of course, that all depends on what view Enraged Barney is using, if there is even a rearview mirror on their screen. P4 is Trim's, as we can see right here, but Born as Ghost in 5th. Oof Serena has not budged from P6. Audrex in 7th, Joe Beardy in 8th, Modern Weapon is 9th, Slow Motion Fire in 10th, Fear the Fun, who disconnected during qualifying, still out there right now in P11, Midnight Rider in 12th, Patches Riley in 13th, Kuda 93 in 14th position. Hiya! Let's go to, let's drop back one car to P4 here. Trim, a very bare bones livery here. I'm disappointed. No, I kid. Our drivers, because they have to select a different vehicle for every race, 9 different vehicles that they'll participate here in Season 50. It doesn't surprise me that they don't have each vehicle decked out. What's up, JB Daddy? I swear Dustin is a better commentator than pretty much all the professional... No shot, dude. No shot. But I appreciate it. And I thank you for tuning in here on a Tuesday evening. Such kind words. Such kind words. Let's go to LS Subaru here just to see if Subaru can close the gap. LS Subaru, by the way, using both of the Subarus here in week number 2. You had the SVX, which was very popular at Daytona, but did not win that race. And now a couple of drivers in the STI here out at Lime Rock. Back to Trim in 4th. The truest part of JB Daddy's statement there in chat is that, yes, I am Dustin. Hello. Nice to have you here. There are my Twitter deets there on the screen for you. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I post details on the streams that are upcoming. And there goes Enraged Barney off into the grass, allowing Trim to make a move for 3rd. And so where Trim's headlamps were at the rear of Enraged Barney's RS 500, they are now pointed into open and clean air here out onto the Sam Posey straightaway. Lap number 8 coming up here for Cratrim and Enraged Barney. You've been here for a while. I figured you had. I mean, I don't suspect that anybody's tuned in like right away as soon as they chat, but like, thank you for jumping in there. Is there a command to see how long I've been following? There is not. There's not. I don't have many of those bot commands going. I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the stream, if you were here that early, that there are a few things that I'm looking into. When the new Forza Motorsport title drops, I fully anticipate a little bit more of a viewership here, just by nature of the game being popular, the new game being popular, and getting people interested in what the community is up to. And so there are a few features that I'm weighing my options on. As far as, do I want to introduce those to the stream? Do I want to bring some of the features back to the stream? Or are there things that I just rather do away with? So we'll see here. A lot of it is contingent on when the new Forza Motorsport title is going to drop, which we may have the details as early as next Wednesday. And that'll kind of give me an idea in terms of when I should start planning for some of these things. I really do want the viewer experience to be as good as possible. So if there are any thoughts and things that y'all like to see, do hit me up, and I'll try to make what I can happen. Here comes Born as Ghost, getting very close, flirting with the guardrail there, coming out of No Name Straight and into that right-hander up the hill. And able to stay out in front of Audrex here, P6. Now you're just talking nonsense now, JB Daddy. I love what I do here on Tuesdays, and really that's the extent of it. Wouldn't it be a crazy world if professional motorsports and even just sports in general allowed streamers to simulcast and do their own commentary over those events? What kind of fun world we'd be in if entertainment was a little bit more flexible and freelance, like it allowed people to just kind of pick it up and have a go themselves. That'd be fun. There would be chaos. It would be chaotic. As somebody who's in marketing for a large company, I already shudder at the brand reputation risks that are involved in that. But wouldn't that be something? Here comes Enraged Barney, trying to reclaim P3 here. And again, that's going to be very difficult to do with the RS500 at a what is that, about a 10, 12 horsepower weakness to the STI. And well, I guess the offsetting here is that the WRX does have a bit more chunk to it. WRX STI here with all of its upgrades comes in at 3,067 pounds compared to the RS500, which is a mere 2,367 pounds of vehicle curb weight. Now, I love commentating for the Forza Spec Racing Series for the sheer fact that these folks, they don't take it too seriously. There are some folks who are very competitive out here, but they don't take it so seriously that I can't joke about them and then have that come back and haunt me. So, this, the commentary that I've done for the Online Racing Association, otherwise known as TORA here in the Forza community, that's been a blast, and that's as really as far as I've had to go with. I did do a Forza Horizon, an official Xbox event here a few months back. What was that? Back in September, the Honda Fan Cup in Forza Horizon 5. That was fun. That was good. Just doesn't have the same feel as Forza Motorsport here, because there in Forza Horizon they run with no contact, no simulation damage or anything like that. So it's a whole different kind of ball game that I'm just not used to. But that was fun. I don't know. We'll see here. We'll see what the new Forza Motorsport title, what opportunities that brings. But truly, I'd rather kind of be able to have a little bit of fun with it without somebody breathing down my neck saying, "Hey, can you read this ad for us?" It's time to read the ad. What brand is that for my headset microphone? It's a Turtle Beach. I don't know what the model is, but it is a Turtle Beach. Here comes Audrex on the back of the Scirocco. It's a pair of Scirocco R's here. Oops Arena in 5th, Audrex in 6th. These two were 4 and 5 at Daytona, now 5th and 6th, and in reverse order. Again, though, Oops Arena really needing some more points here heading into week number 3. The good thing here about the Forza Spec Racing Series is that there is a drop week rule. So if one of these weeks happens to be not your best, or whichever week isn't your best, Forza Spec Racing Series organizers will drop that from your total championship points tally, and therefore your only your top 4 weeks of the 5 will count. And so, although Oof Serena not doing terrible at all, just would really benefit from more points, perhaps this is her drop week. Or maybe it will be. I mean, we still have three more weeks to work through here. Oh, we've got a couple of cars here on the back. I see the back straightaway. Really, it's the final straightaway toward the San Posey Straight that are I guess, tangled up with one another. Born as Ghost included here, facing the wrong direction. Yeah, that's not the kind of view that you want, and it looks like maybe Joe Beardy was the second part of that. Joe Beardy getting ready to go into pit lane here, opting to take the grass. Pretty smart move. Here on the Forza Spec Racing Series, you got to be mindful. They do want you to be mindful of other cars on the track, particularly those that are the lead lap traffic. It doesn't mean that you have to throw yourself off the track to get out of the way, but just being mindful of those who are around you. And so in that case, Joe Beardy was clearly thinking, okay, my vehicle is damaged. I don't want to be anywhere on the track. I'll just drive here on the fairway. I guess it's not really the fairway, right? The racing surface would be the fairway. If we're going to do a proper golf analogy, which I'm not big on golf, but if we're going to do a proper golf analogy, the raceway is the fairway, and the grass would be the rough. All right, AMS Storm, who opted for the Honda NSX. Again, you have an advantage here in the NSX-R, but it can only be used once. You can only use this vehicle once of the 9 races that are in Season 50, and then you got to stow that one away. So AMS Storm going to take the opportunity here to get the win if they can hold on to it. And this would really be a milestone here for the Forza Spec Racing Series in quite some time. We're looking at the possibility of having 4 different drivers with victories through the first 4 races. Oh my gosh. I recommend the Stealth 700 if you want to get a pair. They have Bluetooth and will connect to your Xbox, so you can connect it to your phone and the Xbox at the same time, says JB Daddy. Yeah, this Turtle Beach that I have, I feel like the reviews that I read were giving a lot more credit than it's due. It hasn't been the most comfortable headset that I've had, and I think the quality leaves a little bit to be desired, but it sure is better than the wired headset that I had when I first started commentating, in terms of having that wire draping across me. The quality, though... Actually, you know what? Hold on. I am completely wrong on that. I'm completely wrong. My first headset was a Turtle Beach. This is a Corsair. This is a Corsair headset that I have. I'm not sponsored, so I don't care if I got it wrong. I would be embarrassed if Corsair was sponsoring the channel, but guess what? They're not. Now, this is a Corset wireless headset. And like I said, I think the reviews may be a little bit more generous than I would give. My previous Turtle Beach was, I feel like the quality was better. It brought out the bass of my voice a little bit better than the Corsair does. LS Subaru in second, and by a good margin on both sides. Quite a ways back from the NSX of AMS Storm, and Enraged Barney not in the rearview mirror for LS Subaru. So LS Subaru in a good position to pick up a P2 finish here after the P3 out at Daytona. Enraged Barney right now in P3, but followed by Craytrim. Let's go to Craytrim, as this is a battle that's been going on between the RS500 and the WRX STI, although Enraged Barney now just putting Modern Weapon between the two of them. Modern Weapon in the Scirocco R after getting the victory at Daytona in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Ghibli Giblet says, I need something for people to hear me clearly on Zoom when I say good morning. On Zoom? For your work calls? I can sound raspy as all heck on my work calls if that's the equipment they give me. I ain't about to use my personal equipment for the work stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. I want the bass to rumble in their ears. Here comes Craytrim after Modern Weapon kind of slid off the track. I don't think Modern Weapon was trying to get out of Craytrim's way. Rather, it just happened to slide the Scirocco R off the circuit, and that allowed Craytrim to sneak on by. Very sneaky. Audrex in fifth. Oof Serena. Oof Serena in sixth position. Fear the Fun. Whew. Knock on wood. Don't you dare walk under the ladder. Look away from any black cats. Fear the Fun is still out on the track, and right now battling Oof Serena for sixth. Let's go to Fear the Fun. Oof Serena in the Scirocco, and yeah, Fear the Fun there in the RS500 able to get by. And out onto the no-name straightaway. Fear the Fun got the back tires out onto the grass. There goes Oof Serena making contact. Oof Serena sporting the, is that a Macintosh or is that a Polaroid? What's the livery there? It's the camera livery, isn't it? No, it is an Apple. Apple computer, Apple, and then didn't Polaroid have kind of a rainbow color scheme back in the day? Either way, Oof Serena dropping back another spot, so not the greatest of showings here for Oof Serena, coming off of that victory out at Suzuka back in race number 2 of week 1. Back to Enraged Barney in third. I would have, you see a lot of streamers that have the like a boom. I call it a boom mic. It's not truly a boom mic, but it's it's on an arm. It's not attached to their headset. But really, when you watch sports commentators with the mic on their headset, allows them to have that mobility so they can look all around and not be worried about having their mouth to the mic. And so that's why I've gone this route. Certainly those microphones that are not attached to your headset typically have better quality, but I rather have the mobility. And quite honestly, I don't know how they do it with the mic in front of their face. I mean, I guess it's kind of out of the way enough that you're just focused on the screen and you don't really notice it. But the idea of commentating a race event and having this microphone just kind of draped out in front of me and either being too far from it or too close to it, I don't want to deal with it. So I just go with the headset mic. Let's go to AMS Storm right now, our race leader, and in a big way here getting ready for lap number 25, but having to deal with slow motion fire in the Scirocco. And by deal with it, I mean that AMS Storm just ducks to the inside here. Turn number 1. All right, things are really starting to thin out here in terms of battles. This happens from time to time in these events. AMS Storm, our race leader, uncontested. LS Subaru in second, uncontested. Enraged Barney in third. Not as uncontested. Craytrim's a little bit of a ways back, although they're coming out of the same corner. Turn number 1, Craytrim in fourth. Audrex in fifth, just now entering turn number 1. Followed by Fear the Fun, Oops Arena, Slow Motion Fire, Kuda, and Midnight Rider. That is your top 10 at the moment. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your Forza foes. Let them know that we're doing the FM4 thing here on Tuesday nights. 8 p.m. Eastern is when we kick things off. And come out, hang with us and spectate, or get out onto the track. Either way, increased viewership, increased driver participation. It's all good. It's all gravy. That's the goal. Let's see what I'm going to keep with it. Let's see what 2023 2023 has in store for the broadcast. This will be my first year in a while in which I fully anticipate being here for the entirety of the year. I do this on the side, so there have been a few years where I got to step away for a little bit, but this year, I think we're full bore. Screw it. 365 days starting now. That's not possible. We'll do a stream every day of the week or every day of the year. No. Tuesdays, Fridays, Sundays. Every once in a while we get an oddball oddity of a stream in on a different date. You can always stay up to date on all things here on Xventure with the schedule. Twitch.tv/Xventure/schedule. Link there in the chat for you. And I'll keep saying it because some people may be just joining us, but when the new Forza Motorsport title does come out, I plan to do a stream of my single-player campaign. I know, it's just against AI, but if you guys want to see me race, doesn't happen often, it's going to be your best bet, is watching me play the single player, earning some credits, unlocking some cars, and oh no, got the loading screen. Did it happen? Did the thing happen that is more predictable than the weather now at this point? It has. Fear the Fun. Unfortunately, after being in 6th place, getting around Oops Arena there, has DNF'd. Getting ready to flip the lap count over to lap 30 as soon as AMS Storm crosses the line here. Craytrim now just starting lap number 29. And yes, things have really spread out here, and I think that's usually the experience out here at Lime Rock. I don't know, whatever it is about Lime Rock, it's kind of the differentiator in terms of skill. It separates the competition pretty quickly. Now, there used to be a little part of my intro that I don't do anymore. That's another piece that I'm evaluating moving forward. Not only that, but then the place that I bought the rights for the song within the last couple of months started to copyright claim the song every time I uploaded it to YouTube. So I just said, you know what, screw it. I got to use it for a little bit, but apparently the license I paid for, in their eyes, not good enough for them anymore. And so I'm like, never mind. Won't play your song anymore then, I guess. We'll see. We'll see if we get an intro moving forward. But there was a point in that intro, the story being here, there is a point to this, that did have a part where Emma Storm here on the final lap of a race here in the Forza Spec Racing Series was able to make a pass to get the win. And that's really the most competitive part of this track that I can remember. In fact, I hosted an MX-5 Cup Car Challenge out here at one point, and that race, to my knowledge, was not all that competitive. It really, the track really, I guess, really tested the driver's ability. You look at the map, and it doesn't seem like that complex of a circuit. You do have some elevation change here on the back half, and if organizers opt to put the chicane in on the backside, that can make things a little bit tricky. But for whatever reason, Lime Rock just gets the dots all over the place. Well, for the remaining laps that we do have, we'll see here if Cratrim is able to catch back up with Enraged Barney. The pass here happened earlier with Cratrim getting in front of Enraged Barney about a third of the way through the race, and then within the last couple of laps, Enraged Barney has reclaimed third. Cratrim dropped back to fourth. Into the right-hander, back out on the no-name straightaway. Goes Cratrim up the hill. And down the hill, beginning of lap 33 for these two. Cratrim pushing the STI maybe a little bit too hard, but it's all-wheel drive. It can handle it. A few vehicles that we haven't seen much of. The VW Beetle from Season 16. There was a driver. I don't recall who it was, but there was one driver, at least one, out at Road America who was sporting the Beetle, as Cratrim now well off the track and into the grass. Let's take a look here. Is Cratrim fighting some tire degradation? Yeah, there you go. Well, that gives us a little bit of the story there. Cratrim, 80% tire wear on that front left, 75 on the front right. The percentages that you see on the rear tires not really having an effect. You don't see that here in Forza Motorsport playing into it, but the front tires not helping the understeer nature of the all-wheel drive STI and making it that much more understeery. Trademark. Understeery. I got it. So the Beetle, we haven't seen much of. The BMW M2 Coupe, we haven't seen much of. We have seen it. In fact, with this race here, with the Scirocco R out on the track, I do believe we've seen every vehicle used. From the TVR Cigars to the NSXR, the Beetle, the SVX, the V8 Vantage, the M2, the RS500, the Scirocco R, even the Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale. There were a few uses of that out at Suzuka. And then the STI, as we see Cratrim here. And across the line they go on the 34th and final lap. It is a wrap. AMS Storm picking up the win and making for our 4th driver to have a win of the 4 races run here in season 40 or season 50, pardon me. Shaving 10 seasons off. That's a shame. My bad. Ama Storm, LS Subaru, Enraged Barney, Audrex, Kratrium getting 4th position, followed by Audrex in 5th. And then I'll take note of where everybody else finished here during intermission. Yes, we have a little bit of an intermission here. Allows me to catch my breath, take notes on who finished where. I'll run some ads. You're not going to miss anything. The ads do benefit the channel more than you know. So if you're a follower of the stream, please hang tight. We'll come back. We'll talk to some of our drivers. We'll preview what's ahead in week number 3, the midpoint of the season. And then we'll close things out here. Week number 2, season 4. Gosh, I'm doing it again. Season 40. Season 50, week number 2. I'll get it right. Bringing this one to an end, and rightfully so. I probably ought to usher myself to bed. I'll see y'all on the backside. Welcome back. I'm Dustin Moore, X-Venture, the organ, doing work there in that song. For those of you who are subscribed to the channel, hope you enjoyed the tunes, making the emotes dance around on the screen there. Love seeing that. All right, let's go ahead and turn on over to the driver spotlight. Have a word with some of our drivers. By the way, wrapping things up pretty quickly here this Tuesday evening. Moving fast here tonight. Daytona and Lime Rock. Quick races. Quick races. LS Subaru, it's hard to fault you out there at Lime Rock finishing second. You were chasing the Honda NSXR of AMS Storm while you opted for the Subaru WRX in this one. All I could say is well done there in that race at Lime Rock. I think you did as good as you could have.
Yeah, that was yeah, as you said, best I could do. No way I was going to keep up with Storm in the NSX, let alone a Honda NSX at all. So P2 was pretty much the best result I could get in that race.
This really starts to kind of form this turbulent picture of there are some drivers who have not yet used the NSX, and if the NSX is as OP as the performance index would suggest, that means that the conclusion or the outcome of these remaining 5 races are going to be very, very interesting. Not that a beer league like this should bring about any overwhelming concern, but do you have a little bit of anxiety thinking that, hey, your streak of championship wins is at risk here because of this celebratory 50th season with all these cars having to be used?
I mean, I can understand that. Personally, for me, I'm not too worried about the championship.
Yeah.
I have been pretty much consistent. All the races we've done so far, I have finished in the podium in all of them, where some of my closest rivals in the championship, like Storm, have had like P4s or just been finishing behind me. Even Serena, despite getting that win, also been behind as well in points. Same with Modern. It's really just boiling down to who can put in the who can consistently put in the best results given the car that they are using for that race.
Yeah, it's such a great way to look at it, and the right way to look at it is that sure, some drivers may be able to eke out a win here and there because of their car selection, but really it's going to come down to who can do it the most consistently, and that doesn't mean finishing in first every time, but those podium spots are certainly going to be the key. Next week, week number 3, gets a little bit more technical. Do you think that works in your favor, regardless of what car anybody selects? The first one on tap there in week 3 is Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. I feel like maybe that works in the favor of those drivers who have a little bit more skill behind the wheel versus what we saw here tonight, particularly out at Daytona where it was just kind of gun it and run it. What are your thoughts?
For Laguna Seca, if you still have the option of using the NSX, naturally it's going to be the best choice, as it is with the Nürburgring GP circuit as well. I'm not sure about Nordschleife or Coda. I didn't test it there because I wasn't planning on using the Honda for those 2 races. But if you have the Honda still, using it at Laguna Seca would be still a solid choice. As for Test Track Airfield, I'm not too. It's actually some of the other cars are actually a lot closer to the Honda in terms of pace there. In my testing, I found that there were like 1 or 2 cars that were pretty much matching the pace of the Honda at that circuit. So you might actually see some other cars being chosen outside of the Honda at that one.
And pardon me while I try to get myself to focus here on my camera. No, great point. I said that week 3 will be technical, and then you bring up week 4, which has the Nürburgring GP and then the Nordschleife. Those are most certainly going to be technical tracks, but definitely curious to see what happens here in week 3. You point out that the NSX is a good option out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. That kind of surprises me a little bit. It's in your name, LS Subaru. You went with both of the Subarus that are available here in Season 50, the SVX out at Daytona, the WRX STI out at Lime Rock. Are you kind of glad that those are out of the way now? I mean, it seems like you're a fan of Subaru vehicles, but are you kind of licking your chops now at what vehicles you do have left here for the remaining 5 races?
Yeah, as much as I do love the Subaru SVX and especially the WRX, since the WRX is my dream car, the STI. Those were like two of the slowest cars on average out of the 10. So having those cars out of the way and putting in as good results as I could with those cars, I'm definitely looking forward to the future weeks where I have much more competitive cars still left to use.
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious about. I should have been taking notes here, although that would have been a lot more note taking than I'm probably cut out for with all the other things that I'm trying to do here. But I will be curious to see what vehicles drivers have left as we get toward the end of the season, where you're looking at the leaderboard, you're looking at the points, and you're like, oh gosh, I need to eke out this many points. I wish I had that car, and you no longer do. So that'll be an interesting story to be told as we move toward the back half of the season here. But yeah, LS Subaru only having one win here through the first 4 races, but reminding us that it's going to be consistency that's going to count here at the end. And with, you do have 4 podiums, right? It looks like it.
Yep.
Yep.
First and second in week 1, and a third and a second in week 2.
Yeah. So despite just having the 1 victory, 4 podiums is going to prove to be very, very helpful on those standings heading into week 3. And of course, we'll check those out before we get to racing 1 week from tonight here on X Venture. Subaru, real quick, I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I've been meaning to do this, and of course, I'll be looking to chat for some thoughts on these moving forward. But my question here for you to part with this evening is hot or cold sandwich?
Oh, it depends on the ingredients, to be honest.
Well,
if you have,
if you had to choose your favorite hot or your favorite cold, which one are you going to go toward?
I would say if it's my favorite sandwich, with my favorite ingredients, would probably be a hot sandwich.
And what are those ingredients then?
Just like a lot of meats, to be honest. Just like put a bunch of different meats in a sandwich, and yeah, there you go. Pretty much it.
Does this sandwich ever act as like fuel for you before a race? Do you have this sandwich before a race, or is that too much? And does that weigh you down maybe mentally, or just, I don't know, sluggishly as you're now stuffed?
Well, considering how early these races start for me, the only food I really get to fit in before I just breakfast, and that's it.
Yeah, for those of you who are unaware, LS Subaru on the other side of the date line, already in the future here on a Wednesday morning. So, okay, very cool, very cool. All right, well, we'll see how the sandwiches compare as I ask the other drivers. But LS Subaru, well done. I can't wait to see what the point situation looks like heading into week 3. But undoubtedly, you're in a good spot right now with your 4 podium finishes, and we'll catch you here a week from tonight. All right. Let's see. We've got the rain god himself, Enraged Barney. At least we know him as Enraged Barney out on the track, but blame Borney here in Discord. Barney, let's see here. I took notes, and you finished 3rd, yeah?
Yeah, it was a much better race than Daytona.
Much better race than Daytona, and you're going to have to remind me. AMS Storm had the NSX, Subaru had the STI, you had the RS500?
Yep, the best car on track.
There was a point where Cratrium, in another driver in the STI, was able to get around you, stayed out in front of you for a few laps, and then there toward the end, you were able to reclaim P3. I don't think we caught it on camera, so how did that happen?
Oh, listen, when I noticed you didn't catch it on camera, I was upset. It was the best overtake of my life.
Really?
On the uphill section. On the uphill section, I went around the outside, held it there, and then went around the outside again in the next corner to get my position back. And I was upset, I'll be honest, that you didn't catch that.
I'm ashamed. We must have been running through the field, checking out what else was going on. Maybe it was the Oops Arena Fear the Fun battle. I should have known that Fear the Fun at some point would DNF, so I should have just stuck the camera on you.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we do. We call up Cratrium, and we get back out to Lime Rock, and we reenact it.
Recreate it.
We ended up finishing the racing early here tonight. We can do that. We got the time. No. Okay, well, we'll look to see maybe if you got a cool pass in store out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. So you've used the RS 500. I'm trying to think of the other vehicles that are off the block for you here and what the remaining car lot looks like for you going into week 3.
Well, going into week 3, I think I'm going for an all Volkswagen week. If Subaru can get an all Subaru week this week, I'm going for all Volkswagens.
Oh, okay. So we got the Beetle from season 16, 323 horsepower, and then the Scirocco R, which we saw some drivers opt for here in the 4th race of the season. That's from season 35 with 357 horsepower out there at what could be one of the more complicated or complex circuits here of season 50, just behind probably the Nordschleife. Which one do you use where? The Beetle and the Scirocco?
Listen, all right. The Scirocco, it's a race car. It's going on the racetrack at Laguna Seca. The Beetle, it's a little goofy car. It's going on the goofy test track. I mean, there's no better pairing in my mind. It's just when I think of the Beetle, I think of test track because it's a goofy track match with a goofy car.
Yeah, I mean, when you start talking about the Beetle, shorter wheelbase, although I think it's got some meats on that tire, so you got a lot of tire to work with underneath the car. The airfield could be a little bit more tricky than people might think. You've got kind of a jump there on the front straightaway where the start-finish line is. You have to navigate around some of the places where the track diverges into 2 different paths, but you're pretty confident with the Beetle there.
Yeah, I mean they've turned a Beetle into a Baja vehicle,
Yeah.
so I mean it should be fine in the jump.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how that does. But looking back on tonight, like you said, the Daytona race, not the best finishes after things just went absolutely bonkers out there for pretty much everybody, the entire field. Much better here, race number 3 out at Lime Rock. Let's see, I'm taking a look back at the standings entering week number 2 here.
Listen, I'll spoil it for you. Modern's beating me right now, and I don't like thinking about it.
Okay, Modern's up there. You were in 5th overall in the points behind Cratrium and AMS Storm. So you gained a little bit of ground there, but Modern overtook you, huh?
Yeah, Modern's win. Like, there's nothing I can do against it. He had the perfect car at Daytona. There's nothing I could have done, and he didn't get caught by a mirror.
Yeah, how he didn't get caught by a mirror, had the one vehicle that nobody else selected in that race, and able to come away with the win. Do you feel like you're a little left out right now that 4 drivers through the first 4 races of the season have a victory and not one of those belong to you?
Listen, my win will come. All right, it'll come. Every time we've been to Daytona, I've been up front and I've been leading, and I lost it because of either getting taken out or a mirror. Okay, next time we go to Daytona, I know it's not this season, but next time it'll be my race.
I don't think in all the seasons that I've covered here in FM4 has anybody placed so much blame on a wing mirror than what we've heard here tonight from 2 different drivers.
Listen, everyone blames me for everything. That's where the name comes from. Blame Barney. Today, it's blame mirror.
Well, yeah, because you make it rain out at Suzuka. I mean, that's what people are blaming you for. They're not blaming everybody else for mirror situations.
Listen,
you have a very purposeful decision, and you opt to choose rain at Suzuka every time.
Listen, their engines just get a little warm, you know? You just got to cool it down with the rain.
Oh, my. Okay. Well, all right. Fair enough. Barney and Friends is the thing. Well, yeah, that's a different Barney there, Ghibli. That's not the Barney that we know out on the track. Although you do sometimes sport the green and purple, but I don't think we've seen you in that livery here this season.
No, I think I have ran a Barney livery back in the Miatas.
Yeah,
It's just covered. It's like like a Christmas present wrapping. That should not be that hard to say.
Okay. And I know we just talked about what cars you do have remaining, but was the NSX one of those? You still have that one in your back pocket?
Yeah, I'm saving the NSX for a special little race called Coda. All right.
Oh, the finale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, fast car for longer. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Subaru was maybe trying to trick people, but perhaps Subaru is absolutely correct. I mean, if there's anybody that I would trust in saying, "Hey, Dustin, you should race this car," it would be Subaru. Subaru saying that the NSX might be prime for Laguna Seca, but you're saying save that one to the end.
Yeah, it's just the NSX. I know it's gonna be the fastest car, and you want to be the fastest for a long race, you know. So it makes. I think I'm gaining most time at Coda by using it.
And because week number 5, race number 9 is an endurance race, and there is no second race in that evening, that is a double your points event. So you may be onto something here, Barney, unless you haven't taken into consideration any like the fuel situation in that car.
Listen, if I didn't take consideration of fuel, it wouldn't be the first time this season. I think that happened last week with the M2. It happened this week with the SVX. You know, I've been misjudging my fuel.
Misjudging the fuel. All right. Well, you're misjudging the fact that I'm listening to you too. You keep telling me I'm listening. I got these headphones on. I'm listening. I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it again.
Listen, all right.
But you're gonna tell me.
It's my thing. I gotta say listen every time I speak.
All right, everybody.
Every time I have an important point to say.
There you go. It's a good preface. When you say listen, everybody goes, hold on. Something gold is coming here.
Listen, every time I said it again, didn't I? Every time I speak, something important comes out, you know?
Yeah, okay. And like Jimmy said, these are Corsair. I'm hearing you all the way through and through. These are Corsairs on my head.
I see those things. Those look like professional ear.
Very good. Well, hey, Barney, we have been listening, but at this point, we've got to say goodbye. Well, hold on. I gave Subaru the prompt, so I got to extend it to you. Cold or, I say hot. I guess it could be a warm or hot sandwich. What's your preference?
Oh, that's a good. I think I'm more of a hot sandwich. You know, like a nice meatball sub.
Meatball sub, okay, with the marinara dripped out of there, out of the right out of the pot, nice and warm.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you throw cheese on? Do you have a grated cheese or cheese slices on a meatball sub?
Honestly, why not both? You know.
Oh, and
Who's
what
stopping
kind
me
of
from
cheese?
putting both? Okay, so provolone's usually really good, and
Yeah.
some nice mozzarella on top.
So mozzarella grated or shredded, and then the provolone slice on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Any additional like odd accoutrements to that? Maybe some jalapenos or something?
Honestly, if you're wanting odd, I used to put pickles on my meatball subs.
Oh, oh no!
Because as a
Listen.
kid, I just loved them. Yeah, listen. I love pickles, all right?
Oh, DWM Frog is saying 100% agree. Pickles on the
Exactly.
meatball sub.
Exactly. See,
Oh no. There's a special place at Laguna Seca for people who put pickles on a meatball sub. You
well,
might be flying off the corner there at Andretti Hairpin.
I'll say, let me guess, is it the wall outside of the corkscrew?
No, I'm not that rude. The dirt trap outside of Andretti, right on turn 1. So
Oh,
you got
okay,
plenty
okay.
of time to recover, but just right off the bat, get you off into the kitty litter. Oh, DWM, hold on. So correction, DWM Frog is clarifying, not the pickles, 100% on with the meatball sub, but not the pickons. That's
Oh
where
my
you lost
goodness.
them.
I thought I had agreement here.
Yeah, I don't think. I think you're one and only, the loneliest number in this scenario
am.
here.
The only one.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, at least we know now. We've heard it straight from the mouth of Enraged
Exactly.
Barney. Meatball sub with pickles.
Meatball sub with pickles
Oh, okay.
and double cheese.
Double cheese. I get down with the double cheese. It's the pick. I asked the question, so I have nobody to blame but myself.
Exactly. You wanted odd. You said specifically odd. So I mean, I added it on there.
Very good. Okay. Well, not odd. Enraged Barney picking up a podium spot out here at Lime Rock. We'll see how those points shake out heading into week number 3. And Barney, we'll see you out there at Laguna Seca and the Airfield Test Track 1 week from tonight.
All right, I'll avoid mirrors again. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll take the mirrors off early. We'll take the mirrors off. All right. Joining us, jumping back into the driver's spotlight after having a chat with us following the Daytona race is now Modern Weapon following the Lime Rock race. A tale of two finishes here tonight for you, Modern Weapon. Not so hot necessarily here, although not too bad. I don't want to make it seem too bad, but definitely on different sides of the field here. Race number 4.
Well, as much as I would like to claim a win
Wait,
at Daytona,
you're not.
you got the wrong moderator.
Oh, never mind. I saw modder. I saw a modder, and I thought I had Modern Weapon. I pulled you into the chat here quickly, and no, you're slow motion fire.
I will gladly accept all the praise for that win, though. You can keep that coming, Dustin. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you got the victory out of Daytona. How about
points
that?
Over.
No collusion in points tampering or anything at all. No, FM4 is up and up.
Yes, of course. 100% legit.
So just as crazy for you as it might have been for Modern Weapon, firstly out at Daytona, Modern Weapon was kind of front and back before finishing out in front. You were also in that pack of, I think it was like 5 vehicles vying for the top spot. Granted, it was early on in the race, but then there in the first corner out at Daytona on the tri-oval, you and LS Subaru got tangled up. We even have drivers right now, I think LS Subaru being one of them, and Enraged Barney certainly being the other one, blaming somebody for the mirror out on the track. But it was when you and Subaru got tangled up that I did see some parts come off and jump around on turn 1. So I don't know. What do you recall from that little incident there?
Yeah, I saw those two kind of touch, and then that slowed that drafting pack up, and I had to mid corner, and my car did not like that. If I had to lift mid corner at all, I got loose.
Yep.
Then I washed up the track, and that's what got me into Subaru. One of those deals, I would have been better if I kept my foot in it, but panicked and lifted, and that ended up causing the whole wreck. So, but I ended up picking up Craytrim as a drafting partner, so we kind of battled back to mid. We'll call it mid.
the backest part of mid.
Yes.
Okay, and then things a little bit better here at Lime Rock. I lost you guys as you started moving around out there, but I have a question mark next to your name as maybe 7th?
Yeah, 7th is where I finished.
Which is definitely more mid.
Down. Yeah, Kuda was running me down pretty quick at the end there. He did a much better job saving his tires. I finished that race at Lime Rock with 88% on the front, and they were dying fast.
Yeah, and that's the issue that we saw Craytrim face in the STI was tire wear, and so clearly the STI and the Scirocco struggling there with the front wheel drive and losing grip. Are you glad that car is gone? Did you purposefully select that one for Lime Rock? Lime Rock's I'm not a big fan of the track, but are you leaving some of your I guess, more favorable vehicles here for the what'll be the final race of the front half of the season and then the final races of the back half?
Yeah, I kind of somewhat forced myself into running either the Scirocco or the WRX around there, and I was quicker with the Scirocco, and I was easier on tires with the Scirocco versus the WRX. So, and the Scirocco wasn't a bad car around there; it was pretty quick. I think McQueen had 53 something in the Scirocco around there. So,
yep.
Given the right driver, it could be quick around there. So,
what about the NSX? Where are you saving that one?
I think I'm going to save that one for Coda.
You too? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed the most comfortable around there versus some of the other cars I was looking at.
I'd have thought so too. I mean, LS Subaru threw out the idea that the NSXR and Laguna Seca might pair well together. Perhaps this is just my lack of driving ability. I too probably would save the NSX, assuming the fuel situation warrants it, for Coda. But I guess we'll just have to see what drivers do. Pretty exciting that through the first 4 races here of season 50, and I suppose maybe I could have thought that this would have been I guess, more possible thing than any other season in FM4. But 4 different winners here through the first 4 races. It's going to make things exciting here all the way through the season.
Yeah, we're seeing kind of what we were thinking early on, the NSX. We're seeing the power of that show through.
Yeah.
When it appears at a race, so far it's picked up a win for somebody. So we'll see if that kind of continues on. So we're seeing some strategy play out there. We see people try it during testing, and then all of a sudden somebody will pick it race night, and then you'll see some other people kind of scramble and pick something else, not wanting to waste it if they think it's going to be a hard-fought battle. So there's definitely some strategy playing around the use of the NSX. So that's kind of fun to watch in the background.
I haven't been keeping an eye in the lobby, but I wonder if there has been maybe some people like, oh, I just saw somebody else select the NSX or a different vehicle, and so I'm going to go this direction or that direction. That hasn't really, I guess, raised itself up to the level of the conversations here in the driver's spotlight. But perhaps I'll have to pay a little bit more attention here as we head into these final 5 races if people are like making last-minute changes in the lobby based on what other people are selecting as their vehicles.
Yeah, because if you think there's somebody that's just a little quicker than you and they're running it, you kind of go, do I want to waste it, or do I want to maybe wait, hold it, see if I can't use it better? So I think we're gonna see some people hold on to it, and then the last couple weeks we'll see it kind of explode as everybody tries to jockey for when they can best utilize it.
I do like the play with the NSX having its PI advantage. I do like the play of that in the final race, because final race of the season, you get double the points for it since it is just that one event out there at COTA. So that could be very beneficial to some of the drivers. We're talking so much about the NSX here, Slow Motion Fire, but man, your compadre, your partner in crime here in FM4, who helps things in terms of moderating and organizing and helping make sure things run smoothly here in FM4, Modern Weapon, clearly had something pegged with that Aston Martin Vantage that nobody else had thought of. Getting that win out at Daytona, how surprised were you by that, or did you kind of have a hint that maybe that was possible, that there was a vehicle that could go the distance there without a stop?
Yeah, I'd done some testing with Modern, and we determined that Aston was better on fuel than the SVX. That you're really going to have to save fuel if you're going to no stop the SVX. The Aston could do it with less fuel saving. The Aston was a little bit slower though, but during like testing tonight when we saw cars in the draft, we saw quite a few people running the Aston, and I kind of figured we'd have a more diverse field in that strategy, but everybody stuck with the SVX, and Modern was able to sneak that one in there and pick up the win with it.
I want to say that I don't mean anything obtuse by this when I say that when I saw Modern Weapon in the Vantage, I immediately, my first thought was, okay, that's just somebody selecting a car to be different, to just maybe try to find some sort of leg up, or just to be different for the sake of saying, hey, we're going to have a little bit of a mix of cars in this so that not everybody is running the SVX. And if I would have said that on stream, I would have been just terribly wrong, because the car was absolutely competitive in making it all the way to the end, as Modern Weapon proved. So good job on. I hear you taking credit, saying that you tested it with Modern Weapon, but obviously you opted not to go that direction.
I had already used it.
Yeah. That's your cop out.
I was locked in. Well, I was locked into the SVX by the time we did serious testing with both of them. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a very exciting start to season 50. I truly didn't see it coming, although, like I said just now, I maybe should have thought a little bit harder about it, that, hey, when you got all these different options to choose from, it does allow maybe for some variety in terms of finishing order, with more drivers getting a chance to win than might be typical here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. So exciting stuff. Can't wait to go into week 3. Obviously, Slow Motion Fire, Modern Weapon, Fear the Fun, all of them, they'll get the points sorted out here over at reddit.com/r/FM4. And that way, when we go into week 3, we know where drivers stand. And of course, we've got the exciting week 4 out in Germany at the Nordschleife and the Nürburgring GP. And then it all wraps up in week number 5 out at COTA. All right, Slow Motion Fire. I don't know if you've heard, but my final question for you here tonight, and it looks like you're the last one on the menu, pun intended. Hot or cold sandwich? What is your preference?
What kind of sandwich?
Subaru had the same question, and my immediate response is your favorite warm/hot sandwich versus your favorite cold sandwich. Which one prevails? Which one goes into your stomach?
I think you got to go with warm sandwich every time.
Do you think this is like a winter bias that you're in right now?
No, I would say it's more a warm sandwich feels more like a meal, where a cold sandwich seems more slapdash thrown together. What do I have in the fridge kind of meal?
All right, a little Thanksgiving leftover type meal there. Yeah, Blame Barney asking the very question I was about to go to you with. Since you're saying a warm or hot sandwich, Barney was favoring a meatball sub with pickles. Is yours as creative as that, or a pretty standard hot sandwich? What do you got?
No, not a big fan of the meatball sandwich. If I'm gonna go something like that, I'm just gonna go like an open face roast beef or something like that would probably be my preferred hot sandwich.
All right, the open face roast beef.
Yeah, and that might be a bit of a question all its own, whether or not you consider that a sandwich. Is an open face sandwich still a sandwich?
You know what? No, we're not going to do this here. We're not going to debate semantics and hey, is a hot dog a sandwich? No, we're not doing that here. Okay, I'm going to go a little extra with your question then. I asked about ingredients with the other ones. We just lightly touched on that here, but what makes you as a Mercury Cougar driver, what sandwich do you think looks cool if you're sitting on the hood of the Mercury Cougar? Do you keep that open face roast beef, or do you grab something else? What sandwich pairs beautifully with that car?
Well, the normal go-to sandwich during a race weekend is usually something that you can keep cold in the cooler.
Okay.
And that comes down to like a ham salad or a chicken salad or an egg salad that you can just, throw on some bread and eat pretty quick. That would be the sandwich for race weekend with the Cougar. Okay. All right. I like it. I like the rationale to that. I didn't go into details about it being race weekend and all that, but obviously, that's the element for your vehicle there. So it makes sense that's the story that you concocted. Okay. All right. Well, hey, chat, throughout the season and throughout the year, I'm going to have you all give me questions that I can ask these drivers that are take things a little bit of a different path, but gives us a different perspective of the people that we're talking to here. So fully expect that. Slow Motion Fire, great chatting with you. Really excited for week number 3 and all the way to the finish. And yeah, you have yourself a great week, and we'll do it again a week from tonight. All right. Thank you, Dustin. Excellent broadcast. Can't wait to watch this one back. We'll catch you next week. All right. Yeah, perfect. You'll get to see the part where I was covering you and LS Subaru and then apparently cut my mic off. So if things go quiet on the VOD, it's not by accident. It was my mistake. It was so exciting, you just couldn't contain the profanity. That was the real truth, wasn't it? I just slammed my hands down and every finger hit every key of the keyboard, and off went the microphone. Yeah. All right, take care. All right, we'll see you. All right, folks, there you go. Got to talk a little bit about the racing. We had the time here this evening because racing wrapped up pretty quickly to ask the question of hot or cold sandwich. I see some... Here's what we got to do, chat. We got to play this game together. All right, we're in this together. A Tuesday night. Nobody is running solo. We're all in this together. I asked the drivers the questions, and then I hope that maybe you all will be responsive to the prompt as well.
put your responses in there so that way we can cover it from both angles. Driver, spectator, what's good in the hot cold sandwich world, and we'll get to other questions here throughout the season and throughout the year. Speaking of getting your input as the viewers here on the channel, next week, week number 3, I will open up the form that allows you, as the spectator, to have a say of what some of the corners will be called out at Circuit of the Americas for the final race of the season. This is something we've done a couple of times, and it seems to work out pretty well, but I think we're going to get to a point where this gets funny, it gets maybe weird sometimes, but it will be a cool experience, and it's the least I can do for those of you who go above and beyond and subscribe to the channel. So hear me out. If you are a subscriber currently, next Tuesday, when I open up the form, you will be able to pick a corner out at Circuit of the Americas and name it. Name it whatever you want, with respect to the fact that this is kind of an E for everyone type channel. So let's keep that in mind. For those of you who are watching the channel and you're like, oh, that's a cool little perk, I'd like to be able to name a corner so that as the drivers are going around the track, Dustin will call out the name of the corner that I named. And of course, I'll attribute that corner's name to you. Then for the cost of a Twitch subscription, or if you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch Prime account, and don't worry, they're one and the same company. Amazon is the parent company of Twitch, so don't get too concerned that you're merging your two accounts. But if you link them together here on Twitch, then you can use a free monthly subscription. Free in the sense that once you have your Amazon Prime account, it warrants you a free subscription here on Twitch. So link those two accounts, and if you so choose to use that free subscription here on Xventure, I'll be also grateful, and that too will get you the opportunity to name a corner. Week 3, so not tonight, but next week, and even in week 4 or just before week 5, in that time between those week 3 and week 5, you could fill out the form that I will have a link to here next week. Complete it. Real simple form. Just lets me know which Twitch user it is that's submitting it. Put the name of the corner that you'd like, and you'll have to choose like a couple of corner options. That way, if somebody submits before you and they select the same corner that you do, well, it'll go to your second or your third option. So that opportunity comes about a week from tonight. It's fun. It's a way. There are some great ways that Twitch streamers have come up with to get viewers to subscribe to their channel, and those subscriptions ultimately benefit the channel and the streamer in ways that help keep the streams going. Same can be said here, as I directly reinvest those funds back into the broadcast for production purposes, to license music, to do new graphics and stuff like that. So if that's something that you'd like to do, or at least would like to consider to do, you have until, I don't know, a couple days before the final race of the season to commit to your subscription, complete the form, name a corner, and then I get to call it out. Should be a lot of fun. Going through the Wiggly Ghibli. There you go. Yeah, there's quite a few of those Wiggly Ghiblies there at Coda. All right. Well, that's going to do it for me here this evening. All of a sudden, we went from ending the evening early to ending the evening kind of pretty much on time. It's funny how I can do that. My next stream will be on Friday, at which point I am planning to jump into Microsoft Flight Simulator, probably do a bush trip for a part of the stream, and then take requests to fly wherever on the globe you'd like me to go. So that's a lot of fun. That starts at, I'm saying 3 p.m. Eastern right now. It could be earlier. It could be. Just have to see. And then on Sunday, as you can see there, Rise, Son of Rome. I'll be finishing up my single-player campaign of that game, which has been fun. It's been good. We'll wrap it up here this coming Sunday. And then, of course, 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here, week number 3, Season 50, Forza Spec Racing Series. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got 4 winners out of 4 races thus far. Will we have a 5th? Will we have a sixth, or will LS Subaru, Modern Weapon, Oops Arena, AMS Storm, will one of those four be able to repeat in week number 3? Just have to see. To be continued. ... Yeah. All right, y'all. Be happy. Be healthy. Be kind to one another. Until next time, take care.